50 minutes. Anti-Mage having a pretty solid game. When I first tuned it, it looked like Alliance had it in the bag, so it was absolutely huge, but Fnatic got a couple of nice fights. So I'm excited to see this game, because I agree with you. I don't know how much to take away from the previous series, because especially that second game, it just seemed like Aster had no clue, really. Like, I feel like they got outdrafted, and I feel like even if they hadn't made the mistake with their heroes and who was playing what, I feel like they were still so outdrafted that they probably would have lost that game anyway. So I'm interested to see how this this best of three goes. A little bit different draft-wise from our previous best of three, Dusa being banned out. We're going to be seeing the Earth Spirit and the Tufts banned, so Grimstroke and Lich make it through, but neither team touching the Grimstroke. EG just going to grab the Lich Jug combo.
Yeah, they get that Lich Jug combo that is pretty potent in terms of getting some kills. And one of the things about that EG win in the second game is maybe it does boost their confidence, because they did play heroes that they're very comfortable on. Those are some comfort picks for EG. So getting an easy win like that, you know, some people may say that confidence doesn't exactly win games at times, but it definitely can be a driving factor coming into a new series. So now they've got the Lich, they've got the Jug, they're up against Rubik Centaur, which I do like. Two heroes that are going to provide you with some lockdown, and definitely a tanky hero with the Centaur.
Yeah, and that's the thing about EG in terms of I think one of their biggest strengths is the amount of experience, just the raw amount of competitive Dota 2 experience that's on this team. And coming from that, all of them have quite deep hero pools. There are things that they can draw from previous patches that they've really trained really hard and can now bring them back later on. Like, you know, we see S4 bringing in the Nature's Prophet a little bit there. Sumail's Puck, it's not a hero that is necessarily a staple in this meta, right? But they've got these other heroes floating around that they can kind of draw on. And it does seem like this meta is starting to settle down a little bit, but people are still managing to throw curveballs here and there, and, you know, can notch you a couple of wins. Especially in this event where the group stage is going to be just so important. Like, if they've got anything up their sleeve, this would not be a bad best of three to pull it out.
Yeah, I've been seeing, you know, say Visage a little bit more and more. Something you didn't see at the beginning of this patch, but is starting to evolve, because a lot of teams are working towards now more of heavy push-oriented early game lineups with, I say, the average time of games kind of getting cut down recently. It seems like early game is much more important, and putting that pressure on your opponent's team is definitely early is definitely a huge game plan with a lot of teams.
Yeah, I think the big thing for me, looking at this patch in terms of heroes sneaking in and the patch getting faster, is the Visage and the Nature's Prophet. Like, those two heroes are really just such straight up pushing 5-man kind of heroes. Although Nature's Prophet not necessarily just 5-man, though. The way that people have been playing it recently has been kind of 5-man oriented. But to me, those are two really big signals about the direction that this patch is going in. But okay, EG, I was wondering if they were going to take it. Maybe they were fishing for a stroke ban, but they're going to look at it here and decide, okay, too good with the Lich. Double Chain Frost is absolutely ridiculous.
And even on top of that, having the Jug too. It's having the Lich Frost Shield, having the Inkswell. This gives Juggernaut so many options when trying to find himself inside of a fight. And honestly, they have two cores yet to get picked. If they want to go somebody who picks up a Blink Dagger, they've got the tools to support someone who's going to be that initiator for you with an Inkswell or a Frost Shield. You don't have to put both. Maybe you put one on the Jug and one on your initiator in the off lane or the mid laner. Like, this really opens the door for EG to get a little bit more comfortable with their picks and find exactly what they want.
Yeah, and they could even EG could try and get a good 1v1 matchup potentially, and then or get a good solo offlaner, stick him in the safe lane, and then they could actually be aggressive here, because Fnatic's tri-lane is bad. Like, Void is not a good tri-lane versus tri-lane here. Rubik is okay, but not amazing, especially not compared to the Lich, Jug, and Grimstroke. Like, all three of those heroes are just absolute tri-lane powerhouses. So it's going to be interesting to see what Fnatic can do here. And they're just looking, I guess they're just looking for their mid now. EG probably want a little bit more lockdown. I was going to say something about the Phoenix pick, but I guess it makes a little bit more sense in light of the Business Void getting picked up, because Phoenix isn't a particularly amazing hero against anybody on the EG lineup. But
yeah, that's an
if they're
offlane
just
I
going
really expect with Grimstroke and Lich, somebody who's going to be picking up the blink, check, somebody who could provide a lot of damage, check, and and a good initiator. I think Sven is perfect for that offlane role with Grimstroke and Lich.
Yeah, the survivability is certainly going to be nice, and just having solid lockdown against the Void is never going to be a bad thing.
5 seconds remaining.
So yeah, just looking for that Sumail hero to round things out. Fnatic do have last pick, so they've got the counter pick opportunity here for the mid lane. So EG might pick something a little bit safer, I suppose, something that can't really get as hard countered necessarily. But it looks like EG, I think their plan might be to just try and like play a more skirmish oriented game, because if you look at Fnatic, I think they've already got the team fight locked up. I don't think there's any one hero that EG is going to pick here that's suddenly going to turn the tide and make it so that they're the ones with the better 5v5. So I think they just need to play in a way where they're like, okay, we have low cooldowns, we're always ready to fight, and Fnatic are the ones who are saying, okay, well, we have to have Chrono, we have to have Egg. But EG taking a little bit of a page out of Aster's book potentially, though it's not just an Aster thing as they go for the OD. Okay.
Yeah, I like the OD. I would have loved to see the Kunkka. Obviously, Fnatic caught wind of that and did ban it out. I think Kunkka is one of the strongest mids at the moment, especially with the catch he brings, the team fight he secures, and how good he is in lane. OD is similar to that. You've got a little bit of catch. Astro Imprisonment can set you up with the heroes that you've got right now. Maybe if your timings are right with the Inkswell, or Sven comes in, throws a Stormhammer, and then dropping Sanities early in these fights, especially against someone like the Void, who, if you could take away enough of his mana where he's not going to be able to throw a Chronosphere, if you find the upper hand on him, that really could be team fight winning.
Yeah, if Business Void only barely has enough mana and doesn't really have too many ways to itemize to improve his situation. So you're right, the mana burn and the int steal and stuff is going to be really annoying for him. And for a hero with a low mana pool, he is extremely reliant on his spells, right? You need the mobility, you have to get the Chronosphere off. If that doesn't happen, then you're just kind of a glorified melee creep. So the OD is good for that. They've also got some save potentially against the Chrono. If Sumail can find a good position, maybe he can, if he doesn't get caught in the Chrono, he can blink in and imprison somebody, waste some time. So I don't mind the OD pick here, and Fnatic have to think about how they're going to counterpick it. Oof.
I'm not too sure about this Tinker. The only reason why is I think this lineup is a little bit slow from Fnatic. We've seen the Evo Genius playbook so far of playing high tempo, playing aggressive, forcing the other team into fights that they're uncomfortable with. And I think they've got the lineup to do so with the Sven, with the Jug, Lich, Grimstroke, just having those supports that really give you that leg up in the early fights. I'm not sure if Tinker's going to have enough time to really do Tinker things.
Yeah, I worry that they're not going to be able to. They're just kind of slow. I'm not sure who's going to make plays. The Rubik and the Phoenix. Phoenix used to be a little bit better of a ganker, but then they nerfed the slow on dive from being flat at all levels, so not necessarily as good at running around and finding kills. The game plan for them, I think, is very much just they're going to use Chronosphere when the opportunity presents itself, but other than that, it's mostly going to be farming, I would imagine. And I don't think it'll be too difficult for EG to still find some towers and push. I think they're going to be very happy that they picked up the Juggernaut here. The Healing Ward sustain is going to be really important against the March of the Machine spam from the Tinker. But yeah, Fnatic's lineup overall is quite greedy. But if they can get away with it and they can get Tinker his BOTs and his Blink, then I think they can stabilize and really, create a lot of space on the map for the Void and the Centaur and everybody to farm up.
Yeah, getting the Boots of Travel and the Blink is going to be pretty important. The timing on that if it's going to be quick enough to open it up for Void. And I think if you can open up that space for Void, you for sure have a chance. The only question is going to be how much tempo is EG bringing, and are they even going to give you space to the Tinker or even the Faceless Void? It does seem pretty tough. On top of which, I look at Fnatic's lockdown. They've got Telekinesis, they've got Hoof Stomp, and then Chronosphere. That's it. Then you look at EG, Inkswell, Stormhammer, Astral Imprisonment, Soulbind is always nice. I think they bring a little bit more to the table. Sinister Gaze is also there. I worry about the lack of lockdown.
You certainly drafted around the... Like, they've got way more Grimstroke synergy this game than Aster did in the previous series. It's one of my criticisms of their draft. Alright, so let's see what Fnatic can do with these heroes in the early game. I don't really see a whole lot of playmaking potential. Maybe the Rubik and the Phoenix can like both go and gank the OD a couple of times or something, but other than that, I think they're not really playing to win the lanes here. They're just kind of playing not to lose them, if that makes sense. They're just they'd be happy if every lane was just a little bit behind, but nobody gets completely dominated.
Yeah, it's like when your team tells you don't have to win your lane. Get a couple of last hits, just don't feed. That's all you need to do. Give us a, don't put us too far behind. Like, we know we might fall behind in the early game, and if we do, just make sure it's not too much. Because they definitely have a lineup here with the Tinker, with the Void, and then the Chronosphere with, say, a Supernova. They have a lot here to come the mid-game, late-game area of the game to make comebacks.
Well, 100%. And they've got really good high ground defense as well. So, EG do have some ways to siege a little bit, right? Like I was talking about with the healing ward and Jug being able to go up with the Blade Fury, maybe get a few pot shots off on the tower, but it's not going to be... I don't think this is going to be... We've seen, like an 18-minute game already in this event. This is not going to be one of those. Unless EG just completely steamrolled them. Like that's the only way that this game is ending.
Right away, Blade Fury coming out on Ice, 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 but it won't be enough damage. And I was looking at the fact that they went the 2-1-2 route here for EG. You don't need Inkswell as well as the Frost Shield on Lich, and actually he didn't take the Frost Shield. He's gotten into the Frost Blast level 1. But come level 2, when you've got that Frost Shield, you're able to make up some distance and really close the gap between, say, maybe you and DJ. It could put him into a lot of trouble. And right away, Fly just hitting away at DJ, has the Frost Blast up in 2 more seconds. And one more right click has the damage, and first blood for Fly as DJ tries to drag the lane.
Oh, and he managed to... Oh my god. And the range creep is just killing itself. So cooperative. And the lane gets reset back. Oh, that was a really... That really hurts for DJ. SSIS does come in here and drag another... Oh, and Jabs dies elsewhere. This is not a great start for Fnatic. I mean, still early days, but...
Yeah, again,
their lanes are just not that strong.
Yeah, we talked about how their lanes are not strong. It's how they get out of the laning phase is what we're really going to be seeing from this game. If it ends up that EG just pull too far ahead, I think it will become a problem for Fnatic, where we see possibly an EG lead of 3, 4, 5,000 net worth around like the 10-minute mark. If they start to really snowball out of control, then it should be their game to just take.
Yeah. What happens here at bottom is actually going to be really interesting, because the reason that Fnatic were so desperate to do all these creep pull shenanigans and stuff is they really wanted to get the lane back close to the tower, because if there's too much room for the Jug to be able to chase, he's just going to kill you over and over and over again with the Blade Fury and the Frost Shield. But unfortunately, they didn't manage to reset it, so ISSI is still just getting chased here.
Salve, Popeye Sumail coming over as DJ, so he'll try to make a move. He's got himself the Telekinesis as well as the Fade Bolt setting up over mid, but of course as he sets up over mid towards top, Crit gets the kill on to Jabs, and that's 3 kills. They've got Crit, who's using that Inkswell with the Stormhammer to make plays over top, so that's exactly what you need to do. You go for the weaker hero, which is that Phoenix, and that puts them with 2 kills over in that top lane.
Yeah, and the Phoenix has 0 armor, so very easy for them to just bring him down.
And then here comes DJ. So looking at Sumail, you've got the March of the Machines down. Telekinesis with the Feybolt hitting. Sumail trying to run away from this one. And laser available, and there it is. So Oped getting the kill on a Sumail. Good rotation from DJ as he fed first blood over bottom, but it's a good way to make up for it by getting that kill and helping with that kill over mid.
It was nice March of the Machines positioning. Being able to, like, he was running into the spawns, and then also with the lift, they were able to go to proc a few more. MP jumping away at top, but not really regaining all that much P. They do have more heroes coming in though. DJ,
yeah, DJ with the telekinesis. Crit getting body blocked by jabs. Now he decides to go up towards the north end of the map. Stormhammer comes out, and it will be thrown at MP, giving Crit some space, trying to find in the trees and maybe TP out, but the Icarus dive through, and Crit will end up falling eventually.
That was a really important Fire Spirit. I think he would have tried to get into the fog and salve up a little bit, and they could have maybe found a bit more of a turnaround, but good Fire Spirit from Jabs, and not going to give him that opportunity.
So it was 3-0, but now they've pulled it to 3-2. Meanwhile, Ice just in between the Tier 1, Tier 2 tower. Cut the wave and up against Fly. Not really in too much danger. Stormhammer over top once again. He's got the Ink Swell. That'll pop on top of Jabs. They'll get themselves at least one. MP and DJ, all they can do is really watch. S4 with level 1 into the Warcry, as well as just Inkswell coming out. It makes it so hard to jump on any of these heroes over top for Fnatic.
Yeah, and now we got the 5-minute bounty runs coming up, so this is going to be the battle. Okay. Looks like it is just going to end up being... What? Oh, this is going to actually end up being 2 apiece, so not a big deal.
MP lane's been a little bit tough for him. He's only sitting at 19-2 compared to the Sven 26-9. And of course, there's been a couple of kills onto the Phoenix, 3 to be precise. So really taking advantage in this top lane is EG, and they also got that first blood bottom.
Gank on Sumail at mid, but just puts the Tinker under, and did have enough HP. He's got a bunch of nulls, so reasonably tanky.
Oh, top again, MP. Just gets away. He did have that silence on him. The Icarus dive comes through on S4 as well as Crit doing a little bit of damage, trying to push them back. As, again, popping another salve is this Faceless Void. Really stuck in a bad way. And the Stroke of Fate clips MP, so...
Oh, nice as Ice is dead at bottom. Omni Slash into a spin. And brings him down. I wasn't sure if the Omni Slash was going to kill him because Arteezy doesn't actually have any items. Things off Courier making its way out. So it didn't do a ton of damage, but... Still, nice grab for him there. Though I think this is going about how Fnatic would have expected, right? With their draft, they have to know that they're not going to win the lanes. And they're finding okay farm. Yes, they're behind, but I think they might still be okay with how things are playing out. The next few minutes will be pretty important. The Phoenix needs to get some more levels. The Rubik's impact is going to taper slightly now before he gets level 6, so the home going to be very important for either him or the Phoenix, but I think this is about as well as they could have hoped the lanes would have gone, especially getting that one gank on Sumail. That was a nice pickup.
Yeah, but Sumail level 7, still not going into the Sanity's Eclipse. He's gone 3 into the Astral Imprisonment, so does this mean that Sumail might just keep farming for a while, where he's not taking the Sanity's Eclipse to open up a fight? Or is Fnatic safe for the moment, or are we going to see him maybe move around because he's got level 4 in the Astral Imprisonment and the team is as aggressive as it can be with Grimstroke and Lich?
I think he's just planning on... He just wants to maximize his farm speed. And then the other thing is that I don't think his supports are going to come and gank his lane anytime soon. It's kind of difficult to gank the Tinker. The March is always going to be a problem, so... Easier for him to just focus on nuking out the wave and playing his own game for now instead of trying to go and influence the other lanes. The other thing is that the lanes don't need help. They're winning all 3 lanes, so Sumail doesn't have really anything else to do.
Get the Stormhammer over top as well as the Inkswell to land on MP as well as Jabs. S4 needs to get out of there as the Icarus dive comes over the top. But they don't get the kill onto Faceless Void, but again, forced to pop a salve. Stroke of Fate attempting to maybe clip the Faceless Void one more time. But again, it's just heavy pressure coming out from EG, making them really uncomfortable in this top lane, to the point where they did make that rotation, have a tri-lane for the most part over top. at least for Fnatic.
Just temporary. Again, I don't know what DJ and Jabs can really do. Looks like they've been just kind of spending their time stacking. There were a couple of stacks for Abed over here. So like we said during the draft, 100% the most important thing this game for Fnatic is the Tinker's BOT and Blink timing. And they're just doing everything that they can.
Stormhammer over top. They're going to look for the space to Void. Meanwhile, Fly gets a kill on Ice Ice. So we've got 3 heroes set up over towards this top lane. Oh, the Phantom's Embrace not going to be able to get the kill. Still not level 6, so no Chronosphere available, but Abed makes the rotation over towards top. Sumail finally coming in. Does have Sanity's Eclipse. Didn't choose to use it on the Void. Maybe they thought they were going to get the kill without it.
Nice, okay turnaround for Fnatic. A little bit of wasted time for Sumail, but still EG very much in control here. RTZ just going to be going for a Yasha, nothing too shocking for him, item build wise. Fly just grabbing some levels over at mid while Sumail was away.
Sumail drops the Sanities, also has the Astro Imprisonment. It's enough to get the kill onto Jabs. So finds a solo kill for himself onto the Phoenix. And that is the 4th time this Phoenix has died already, so really just struggling to find any semblance of a game at the moment.
Yeah, their support combination is just kind of weird and kind of weak. Oh,
Chronosphere over top. Fable gets thrown to the Grim Stroke. Crit still not dead just yet. He tries to throw the Inkswell on himself, and after the Chronosphere is done, right click comes in from MP, and he uses that Chrono to get himself at least 1 kill. But the Stampede used bottom. They've got the Sinister Gaze. Ice Ice was trying to get away. Frost Shield placed on top of Fly. RTZ continuing to move on forward. He doesn't have Omni Slash for another 38 seconds, but they have the Frost Blast. They're slowing down Ice Ice, who's making a lot of space with 3 heroes here. The Blade Fury on top of him, and he will taunt, but it doesn't look like he's getting out of this one.
Sumail claiming that kill as his own. Yeah. It was quite a lot of space created, though. You're right. There's 4 heroes running at him there. But Abed's still farming away. He's got those BOTs. And Fnatic still, well, they just lost the one tier 1 tower. So I feel like they are okay with how things are playing out, but still, they're just kind of getting the runaround because of how good EG's supports are at this point in the game. I'm not really sure what else Fnatic do here. I guess they just wait for Chrono, try and find another kill with that. They gotta wait for the Centaur Blink as well, but Ice is gonna take a little while to get that, only 260 gold to his name.
Are they that dependent on the Chronosphere? Like, is there any way else for them to get a kill here, or is it just what EG brings to the table too much for them to really go in? And before you answer that, Ice in a little bit of trouble. Sumail on the run. They've got the Astro Imprisonment. The Icarus Dive comes across from Jabs. They've also got the TP over from Abed, but it's not going to matter. They'll lose the Centaur, and then right off the bat, Fly and Sumail will back off.
The problem is that they don't have any other setup, really. Until they get the Blink, the only setup that they have is the Void jumping in and crush. Otherwise, they just walk in with the Rubik, but that's just never going to work against EG's heroes. So, unfortunately, they don't really have a whole lot of plays to make.
Rockets coming out.
Stormhammer's going to be pretty nice.
Jeez, taking a little bit of damage there, standing in this March of the Machines. Might want to be a little bit careful. He does have the healing ward, so not in too much trouble unless they were to completely commit onto him. But again, you're dealing with Ice who doesn't have a blink, and the only way in right now is Time Walk with the Chronosphere. But over at bottom is MP, and he might actually be in trouble. He Time Walks away just in time. Stormhammer coming out, Telekinesis, creating a little bit of trouble, but the Soulbind comes in with the Chain Frost. So this is going to be bouncing around heavily. The Sanity Scoop is going to be dropped. They lose the Phoenix as well as the Rubik to start this fight. The Stormhammer hits on 2, but this is behind the tier 1 in a pretty precarious position is these 2 Fnatic heroes, so EG don't want to jump in behind the tower.
Yeah, I saw them like looking at Crit, and he was not in trouble at all there. Lifting him in really didn't accomplish a lot for them. I don't know, EG, it feels to me like they're just gonna buy, like maybe they just buy a pipe on Sven, and then I think they can actually just keep going and kind of do whatever they want. The pipe might actually be enough for them to comfortably take team fights 5-on-5. And Fnatic have to be so careful at this stage of the game how they use their big spells. If MP gets caught out and the Chronosphere doesn't happen, that's the other thing. Their entire lineup is really built around the Chronosphere. If they don't land a good Chrono, or if nobody dies in the Chronosphere, then I think they're in really big trouble after that point, because their team fight just doesn't really have a whole lot of structure other than that.
This is a 5,000 net worth lead, 13 minutes in, about where I was talking about. If Fnatic found themselves this far behind, they might be in a little bit of trouble. But that being said, they've got boots to travel and are about to have the blink on Tinker. So maybe come that blink dagger, you can start to open up a little bit of space and force some, unwanted rotations from EG.
He can do a little bit, but the problem is that they don't have very long growth because the tier 1s are all still up. So he can't actually shove it that far, if you know what I mean. It's not going to be too much of an issue for EG to reset those lanes.
Oh boy, Fly. He's caught out in a really bad spot. Frost Shield stolen, the laser in. And that's just going to bump Tinker onto that Blink Dagger. So, Oped's found it. Still down 5,000 net worth to get the kill on a Lich, which is, not that big of a kill, but it's something. As well as stealing the Frost Shield. I think that's even bigger than the kill. Ice.
Offering Artesian item to cancel his TP and die to him and DJ, but she's not gonna take the bait. Artur just going for the Manta Stalk here. Nice to have some ways to dispel the laser, other than being forced to spin every single time. That's certainly nice. Also kind of important to get the time dilation off of you. Don't want to get kited around too much.
Did smoke up. They've also got Arteezy inside the Dire jungle. DJ comes over. The Blade Fury is going to be used immediately. It'll be stolen by DJ, who tries to run, but the Stormhammer, nicely done by DJ, but is the damage there? No! That was really well done by DJ to get out of that.
Yeah, the best thing, I think, was that he put the Frost Shield on himself right before he stole the next spell. So that little bit of extra damage mitigation, I think, was what he needed to escape. So, nice play, but a cute play is not going to change the position of this game that much. Still very much EG in the driver's seat.
That's showing Prismate out on MP. Sanity's Eclipse following that up, but what's next? Sumail just letting that ulti rip.
I don't know if he was... Don't know if he thought that the Void was a little bit lower on mana or what the situation was, but yeah, it was weird. He didn't have... I don't think he had any stacks at all, right? He just imprisoned him and straight up sanities. Didn't have anything on the Arcane Orb.
Definitely a questionable Sanities Eclipse there, which means that's down, and I think that almost guarantees you a chance at getting the Chronosphere off. And the stun from S4 was towards the creeps, not at DJ, but S4 in a lot of trouble. The Frost Shield's out on him, but the Rocket's coming in from Oped to get the kill. So, again, just a bit sloppy there from EG, and that's going to cost them.
Yeah, these last couple of moves have not been so well coordinated necessarily, and it does seem like Fnatic are kind of finding their rhythm a little bit. MP feeling confident that this is going to be on game, has just queued up the Battle Fury, feels good that the Tinker is going to be able to kind of keep them in a good spot, and Arteezy finding a DD is going to decide to try for the Roshan, though this isn't easy against Fnatic's lineup. It looks like they do know what's going on. Like you said, Sanity's down.
Blink, Hope Stomp, Double Edge. Now the Rocket's coming in, but the Astral Imprisonment is going to come out from Sumail. Now, let's see how willing they are to try and dive in onto this, because Roche is almost dead. And they'll get the kill on a Fly. They'll throw the Stormhammer out at MP, but he does have that Chronosphere available, so they need to get out of harm's way. The Supernova is going to be laid down. The Rocket's coming across. MP looking to finish off this Roche as the Supernova does pop. And EG might be the ones who need to re-engage here, as this Roche might go the way of the Dire. The Blink Hoof Stomp actually hits onto an illusion. There's the Icarus dive over. The Soulbind locks up DJ as well as Ice. The Stormhammer on top of that on MP, as the Aegis is picked up by this Faceless Void. Throws the Chronosphere, that comes through, hitting away, getting the kill onto S4. They'll look for more. The laser is there. The Omni Slash comes out from Arteezy, landing on a Jabs, getting the kill. It's only one, as the laser and everything else around it from Fnatic is able to clean up this jug.
All right. Well, I'm going to be very happy with all the work that EG did there to take down the Roshan. There's no way that Fnatic can take it by themselves, so literally the only way that they can get Roshan in this situation is stealing it from EG, but I mean, even after that, I think they could have maybe kept Jabs alive if they'd tanked the Omnislash together a little bit more, but still not a huge deal that he goes down. He is just the super hard 5 this game. And I don't know, EG, since this Tinker's items have come online, they do seem to have kind of, I don't know, lost their way somewhat in terms of what the next step is, and I think that's why they went for that Roche, just to try and get things back on track and make it a little bit easier for them to start 5-manning again, but not so.
This is what we were talking about with the Tinker finally finding those items and making enough space for the rest of the team, and it really has come off the back of him picking up this Blink Dagger after the Boots of Travel. He's going in a Dagon 1, and that opens up time for Faceless Void to get this Battle Fury, so he's going to be moving up in terms of farm as he's sitting 4th, 1,000 net worth behind Sumail, but the Battle Fury is really going to help him progress quite nicely.
I think this is the item that EG really needed to wait for before they went for a couple of these kills and before they went for the Roshan. The Blink Dagger on the Sven. I think if they'd had the Blink on the Sven, then they could have just gone and found a kill before the Roshan and kind of secured it that way. But instead, they sort of tried to brute force it, and I don't even know if they needed to go for the Roshan at that point in the game. They probably went for it just thinking that it was free for them, but I really don't think that that's the case at all against Fnatic's lineup.
Blink, Stormhammer.
Caught out.
Yeah, he's in a lot of trouble, but they've got the Stampede that's going to be over S4. He's slowed up. The Time Dilation comes out on top of that with the Rockets coming through. Sumail coming over, but the Soulbind locks in Hophead as well as DJ, who uses the Blade Fury. The Blink Hook's not coming out onto the Grinstroke. They might be able to get a kill on a crit. Sanity's Clips drop down with the Astral Imprisonment on MP. MP moves forward. He's got the Chronosphere that's going to land on a Sumail, locking him in. Laser Rockets, that gets the kill. 2 heroes gone on the side of EG as they only lose their position 5 Phoenix. Continuing to move on forward is Ice looking over at Fly, who's got the Frost Shield on top of him. Blink Dagger, 2, 1 with the Hoof Stomp. There it is. And then the Double Edge on top of it, but I don't know if this is really going to get him the kill. DJ comes over, the Sinister Gaze comes through, the Stroke of Fate is going to be thrown out by the Rubik with the Fade Bolt. Stormhammer locks in 2 of these heroes on Fnatic, and they do not get this Lich kill, and they themselves don't go in too far.
Bottom tower is under attack.
They kind of forced out a little bit of a reaction from S4 there, but very nicely done by Abed. I thought he was in a little bit of trouble, but EG just didn't have enough heroes nearby to punish him, and stayed cool under pressure, just got the laser off, rearmed, and away he went. No trouble at all. I'm a little bit surprised to see the Dagon build this game instead of going for an Ags, but the Sven's not really doing a ton of like actual right-click damage necessarily. And the Jug has a lot of ways to deal with the laser, so I think the more burst is actually probably better in this situation, because once he gets a Dagon 5, he'll be one-shotting both of the supports really easily.
There it is, Dagon 2.
Yeah, they don't have the vision to really utilize the Ags to 100% either. Like if you've got Night Stalker or you've got a Bounty Hunter or something, and you can always just see the backlines kind of no matter what. I think the rockets and the bouncing laser is super useful, but not necessarily the case this game. They really need whoever they chrono, they want that person to die in the duration of the chrono. I think that's where the Dagon's going to be really helpful.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Locking into a 2,000 net worth advantage, and in terms of experience, they're up by quite a bit too. And we can start seeing that with level 15 here for the Void, with the time lock damage, as well as Tinker getting closer and closer to level 20. Things are looking good for Fnatic, although they're only up 2,000 net worth, but look on over, and Arteezy's just quickly dead. They time walk over with the Stampede, they bring in a couple with the TPs, Aegis will be reclaimed, S4 is able to run away. But they're still chasing. Just in case S4 stop for a moment, they'll continue to chase. Meanwhile, bottom Supernova comes out, and let's see if they're able to make Jabs pay, but he goes with the Sunray. And off the map. I can't even continue to look at him.
Tower is under attack.
He gets pulled back in. Icarus Dive comes out, but there's the Astral Imprisonment, so a little bit of a sloppy combo there, but it's not going to matter. He's not getting out of this one anyway, but it does pull a lot of heroes from EG over bottom.
Yeah, that was weird, but I really want to say that it was basically created at the end of the day. Like, they got mid lane all the way in, they got top out. And at this point, Fnatic are the ones who decide when the fights happen. They're the ones in control of the lanes. This is kind of similar to what EG did against Aster in our first best of 3, where they just had so much better lane control that they were just shoving lanes with Puck, they were shoving lanes with the Nature's Prophet, and Aster didn't have any way to deal with it. And this game, it's EG 100% having to find the Tinker if they have any hope of pushing any more of these objectives or making their way out onto the map. So we're gonna probably start seeing some anti-Tinker wards. We've got a Blink Dagger queued up for the OD, so he can go hunting him a little bit more in the trees. But that really is what the game is going to be completely centered around Tinker for the foreseeable future. Everybody itemizing against Tinker, and then Fnatic doing everything that they can to protect him and continuing to just farm up using the split push.
Now, Ape hasn't died yet. And I know he's really close to Arteezy. I just don't want to Caster's Curse him right there. Done that too many times. But he's already into the Dagon 4. So he's farming at such a good pace. He's 4,000 net worth ahead of anything on the side of EG. And EG are the ones looking to be the aggressors because they know they can't really be complacent and sitting back the way they are.
Yeah, he's using every little bit of space that Fnatic have created on the map. Do you really want to use the 10-second BKB on Sumail? He's very strong. Doesn't have the highest net worth in the game, but his potential impact in this next fight is going to be really big. Though he still has to worry about the Chronosphere from the Void. Sumail more than likely wants to wait to see the Chrono get used elsewhere, and then he'll probably make his way into the fight. That's a big reason as well that he wants the Blink Dagger beyond just just being able to hunt the Tinker, is that he can stay back, he can wait for the Chrono to get used on somebody else, and then he can come blink in and do everything that he needs to do, because he still has to respect the Chronosphere in fights.
Let's see the Void going into his BKB. As he went Battle Fury, Blink, and BKB. So the Blink Dagger I like. It really does. Instead of relying heavily on the Time Walk to get in and find a Chronosphere, he could Blink in and get good positioning to find a Chronosphere.
Yeah, it's the luxury of having the Tinker on his team, and the Tinker having as much farm as he does. He can afford to go for an initiation item instead of just relying on the Centaur. But he doesn't have to do as much damage on the Void. Sure, it'll be nice for him to do damage later on, but right now the most important thing is that he gets the Chronosphere off. And that's what the Blink and the BKB are all about. I think you sometimes see Shadowblade on Void, and I think Shadowblade's good, but this build suits his role in this game a lot better than I think the Shadowblade would, since EG could just buy a bunch of Sentry Wards and make the Shadowblade initiation pretty unreliable.
Crit. Going back towards his team. He's got Fly by his side as well as Arteezy, but we've got 4 heroes now here for Fnatic. May not be the fight that you want to take. And Fnatic, they're okay with just letting Ape go around the map. He's got Dagon 5. Now he's going onto the Hex. This just opens up so much space for the Faceless Wood and the Centaur to find a couple of items where they've gotten the Blink, Vanguard, and Pipe on the Centaur, and then, like I said, the Battle Fury, Blink Dagger for the Faceless Void, and now the BKB. So Tinker's opened so much space for them.
Yeah. They had a lot of... they did have the high ground instead of EG's base, but that did get de-warded, so nicely done by EG, though. Fnatic, like I said, they're the ones who get to pick and choose fights, and right now they're choosing to go out with the smoke and try and look for something. EG is wary. They're sticking to the high grounds, and they are kind of sticking together, though Sumail split up from them just a little bit.
Fly right into the hands of MP. Will be immediately taken out. The blink with the hoof stomp coming in from Ice as well as the double edge. That's going to be onto Crit, who will also fall. It's 2 years. They don't buy back immediately. The Omni Switch comes down on MP as well as Ice, but the Chronosphere right on top of it. The Blade Fury's there. The Soul binds down into his cliff. Sumail run to the edge of this Chronosphere with the BKB being popped. He looks over at Ice. The buyback comes out from Ophead, who had fallen earlier in this fight. Jab's in a lot of trouble, but he's got himself the triple kill, staying alive, getting to the low ground. Somehow he's going to escape. Arteezy and Sumail fall 3 heroes dead on EG as they bought back on Crit. Oped looking for more. Crit just bought back, and this is most likely going to be a dieback. S4, meanwhile, he's going to be lifted up with the telekinesis as well as the stolen astral imprisonment. They don't go to get this Sven, and all they have here is DJ and Japs. MP finally coming over, the blink over towards S4, but he's hit with the Storm Hammer, and the blink away keeps him alive. But Crit, he never fully made it out of there, and now he's just dead.
Well, he actually, funnily enough, he did. Like the Tinker was completely out of mana. Abed didn't have anything to tank, so he went back home to try and get some mana and return to the fight. But Crit completely juked MP. He got all the way up. I think he even got close to the side shop and then decided that he wanted to run back instead. And then just got caught on the way back, which is really weird. I don't know if his TP was on cooldown or what the situation was, but yeah. Kind of a weird fight. I think the Chronosphere may have actually been better for TP than it was for Fnatic. Sumail got a lot done with that. And S4 started the fight fantastically by finding the Tinker, and they killed him off. But in the end, Fnatic have the resources. They had that buyback available on the Tinker, and that's going to win it for them. But I think if not for that, that would have actually been a really good fight.
Yeah, that buyback coming out from Tinker really saving them, and honestly, the Phoenix doing so much work in that engagement.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Somehow got a triple kill and survived on the most minuscule amount of health that a Phoenix can have, and the buyback doesn't, from Oped means that they're not going to be skyrocketing in terms of net worth advantage over EG, but they definitely have the better position in this game for sure.
Oh, 100%. And the positioning was the key thing about that last fight as well. I think that's the reason that the Phoenix has so much impact, is because Fnatic knew exactly where the fight was going to happen, and Jabs could make sure that he got a good supernova off and get all of his spirit damage and whatnot.
Ooh, Chronosphere on Arteezy in a lot of trouble, and they've certainly got the damage to clean him up. He doesn't have buyback. Now the Blink Hook Stock comes through. That's going to be on to S, where he used the War Cry with the Chain Frost bouncing around with the Soulbind. That also came out, so two of them bouncing around, trying to do what they can. They look over at the Supernova. He ends up dying. He does have buyback. The Chain Frost still bouncing around, doing so much damage to the side of Fnatic, and they finally kill Ice. That was bouncing forever.
Lucky for Fnatic that was only a level Chain Frost. Fly was only just level 11 as that fight started, but even then you can just see how powerful that combination is. Fnatic got a little bit greedy, I think. They used a bunch of important spells. They used the Chrono on the Jug, and then decided that they could try and look for a little bit more, but just didn't quite have the... I think a big part of it is they didn't have the positioning from the Tinker. Abed wasn't really able to get in there and do a whole lot of damage after the Jug had died, so difficult fight for him, and without the Tinker's damage, they can't really focus down some of these heroes. Also, EG with the BKB on S4, just very, very difficult to bring him down. I don't know if Fnatic didn't see that he had that, since that was the 10-second charge being used.
Power of the Soulbind Chain Frost. That definitely could have been much worse. Like you said, it's only a level 2 Chain Frost, maybe level 3, maybe a Scepter on it, which is just, obviously, that is a luxury item by far, if that were to happen.
Fnatic just going again. Chrono in 25 seconds.
Blink Hoof Stomp coming through on a Crit. Meanwhile, S4, he's inside the pit, and DJ takes notice of this, and they actually go away from Crit, focus on S4. The Bash is coming through, the BKB being popped, the Soulbind comes out with the Omni Switch flying through. Oped, Ice, they have to back up with the Chain Frost coming in. That's going to be Chain Frost with the Soulbind once again, bouncing around, doing what they can. Sumail right-clicking away at Ice, who used the BKB just before he gets Hoof Stomp. Oh, Icarus dive, and a nice Chrono on top of that. There's the Dag, and that's going to rip through Arteezy, who ends up falling. There's the Supernova popping, but it's going to be avoided with the Astral Imprisonment on Sumail, on himself, who blinks away, but they lose S4. The Bash is coming out. They've got the Telekinesis coming through from DJ. and they lose 3, and a good fight from Fnatic despite losing Ice.
Really unlucky for EG that Arteezy ended up bouncing to the illusions in his Omni Slash. He didn't actually stick with the heroes and get either of those kills. I don't know if it would have changed the outcome of the fight all that much.
Oh no. That's Fly. Oh, alive so far. But, oh, Sinister Gaze still surviving, but the Rockets come in and get the kill, and now they look over at Crit. And yeah, Op-Ed's here, and he's throwing rockets into everybody's face to get the kill.
Radiant's middle tower has
Cool little play from Abed, blinking away from the Phantom kill, and then just TPing out. But yeah, Fnatic looking really good.
Stormhammer that was from DJ. Fly, you bought back for what? DJ's doing work with this stolen Stormhammer.
Yeah, it's been really valuable. There's lots of really good consistent steals for Rubik this game. I mean, they picked the Rubik early, but EG did kind of play into that a little bit with their 2 supports and the Sven pick. It's just it's a lot of spells that are really easy for Rubik to use and really high impact and really easy for him to steal.
God Strength, Blink, Stormhammer coming out, but we're already taking a lot of damage with the Sunray right on top of him. MP gets the kill. The Sandus Clip is going to be dropped onto the Ice as well as Jabs. BKB is going to be popped by MP with the Stormhammer being thrown back at this Jug. Arteezy in a lot of trouble as he's lifted up by the telekinesis. He's going to be dead for 74 seconds without pop back. The Dagon comes in. They'll get the kill into Sumail. 4 heroes dead. And now EG, all they've got left is a Grimstroke with the Sunray on top of him. He'll end up falling. Full team wipe in the favor of Fnatic, and game 1 goes in their favor as well.
Nice. Honestly, I didn't think that Fnatic's lineup was going to look this good, but EG didn't really do anything with the early game lead, and having that last pick for Fnatic, the Tinker turned out to be the perfect answer. And they knew exactly what they were doing. The supports didn't really waste too much time in running around and trying to gank. We did see a little bit of rotating out of DJ, but for the most part, they set up some stacks for Abed, made sure that he had all the space in the world, and the Tinker kind of took over the game. It just didn't feel like EG had the heroes to deal with it, which is exactly why they pick it, right? It's a last pick Tinker. If you're doing that, you have 100% confidence in Abed's ability to win you that game.
Yeah, I mean, Fnatic looked really good. They were down